Emily's heart froze the moment she stepped into her hotel room. The air was icy, even though the summer night outside was warm. A soft, whispering voice called her name from the darkness. She spun around, but the room was empty. Then, the door slammed shut behind her with a loud bang, making her jump. The lights flickered violently, and shadows twisted across the walls. On the mirror, a pale face stared back at her, wide-eyed, silent, and not her own reflection. She had read online that guests at the Grand Hollow Hotel often reported seeing the same thing. A shadowy figure appearing in mirrors, always watching. And now, Emily was living the same horror. Her heart pounded as the whispering grew louder. At first, it was one voice. Then more joined, murmuring names she didn't recognize but somehow felt familiar. A cold hand brushed her shoulder. She spun around, but the room was empty. Her suitcase had fallen open, clothes spilling onto the floor, though she was sure she had zipped it tight. Then a deep, hollow voice echoed, "Leave." Emily sank to the floor, unable to move. Just as she tried to gather courage to run, the door creaked open on its own. A long shadow stretched across the room. Then came a slow, deliberate knock from inside her room. The whispering stopped. Silence fell. Emily realized the legend she had laughed at online, the story of America's most haunted hotel, was real. She was living it now. To understand how Emily ended up here, we need to go back a few weeks, when she first booked her stay. The Grand Hollow Hotel had always fascinated her. A historic building with antique furniture and a chilling story, it seemed perfect for a summer getaway. She had even joked online that her followers would get a thrill when she posted videos from the most haunted hotel in the United States. She had no idea she was stepping into a nightmare that decades of guests had experienced before her. Emily arrived on a bright afternoon. The hotel's tall brick walls and iron balconies looked impressive. Inside, the lobby smelled faintly of lavender and dust. The receptionist, a pale woman with tight curls, handed her the key. "Room 314, she said quietly, the favorite of many guests. Emily raised an eyebrow at the comment but laughed it off. The first few hours were calm. Emily explored the grand staircase, antique chandeliers, and the hotel's long corridors. She met other guests, an elderly couple who had stayed there for years, a young man with a camera documenting haunted spots, and a writer named Jason researching ghost stories. They shared tales of flickering lights, objects moving, and guests disappearing for hours. Emily smiled politely, thinking they were exaggerating. That night, she unpacked and noticed her suitcase zipper had opened slightly. She shook her head, blaming herself. As she walked around her room, soft tapping came from the walls. "Just the old building settling," she muttered. Hours later, the hotel grew quiet. Emily sat on her bed scrolling through her phone when a shadow moved in the corner of her room. She turned quickly, but nothing was there. A chill ran down her spine. Then came whispers, faint and distant at first, calling her name, "Emily." The voice grew urgent. Her phone flickered and died, and the lights dimmed. That's when she saw it, the face in the mirror. Pale, wide-eyed, silent. Not her reflection. Emily froze. Shadows twisted around her. The air grew colder and heavier. She tried to leave the room, but the door wouldn't budge. A knock sounded from inside her room, slow and deliberate. Her pulse raced. "Who's there?" she whispered. The knock came again. And then, a whisper floated through the shadows. "We've been waiting for you." The knock echoed again, slow and heavy, as if someone stood just inches away from Emily. Her chest felt tight. She held her breath and stared at the door. It did not move. The handle did not turn. Still, the knock came once more, louder than before. "Who's there?" Emily whispered again, her voice shaking. No answer came. Instead, the mirror fogged over, even though the room was cold. Words slowly appeared on the glass, as if written by an invisible finger. Emily screamed. She rushed to the door and pulled with all her strength. This time, it opened. She ran into the hallway barefoot, not caring about anything except getting away. The hallway lights flickered as she ran. Doors on both sides stayed shut, silent and dark. She reached the stairs and rushed down to the lobby. The warmth of the lights and the quiet music made her stop. Everything looked normal. The receptionist stood behind the desk, calm as ever, typing on her computer. "Please," Emily said, gasping. "Something is wrong with my room." The receptionist looked up slowly. Her face did not show surprise. "Room 314?" she asked softly. Emily nodded. "Yes." There was someone knocking. Inside the room. The receptionist sighed. "You're not the first to say that." Emily felt her stomach drop. "What do you mean?" Before the receptionist could answer, an older man stepped closer. It was Jason, the writer Emily had met earlier. He looked pale. "You saw it too, didn't you?" he asked. "Saw what?" Emily said. Jason swallowed. "The mirror. The knocking. The voice telling you to stay." Emily's eyes widened. "How do you know that?" "Because it happened to me last night," Jason said. "And to others before us." They sat in the lobby as Jason explained. Over the years, guests in room 314 had reported the same thing. The mirror showed someone else. The voices called their names. The knocking came from inside. And every guest said the same word appeared on the mirror: stay. Some guests checked out early. Others moved rooms. A few stayed the whole night. Those guests reported something worse. "What happened to them?" Emily asked quietly. Jason hesitated. "They said the hotel followed them home." Emily laughed nervously. "That's not possible." "I thought so too," Jason said. "Until my hotel TV turned on by itself at 3 a.m. And the mirror in my bathroom fogged up with the same word." Emily felt cold again. She decided she wouldn't sleep in room 314. The receptionist gave her a new key for room 210. "You'll be fine there," she said, though her voice sounded unsure. The rest of the night passed quietly. Emily sat on her bed, wide awake, listening for sounds. Nothing happened. No whispers. No shadows. She finally began to calm down. Maybe fear had played tricks on her mind. In the morning, sunlight filled the room. Emily almost felt silly for being scared. She packed her bag and planned to leave the hotel after breakfast. Downstairs, she met the elderly couple again. They looked tired. "Bad night?" the woman asked. Emily nodded. "Do you know anything about room 314? The couple exchanged a look. The man spoke softly. "We stayed there once. 40 years ago." "What happened?" Emily asked. "We heard the knocking," the woman said. "And the voices." "Did you leave?" Emily asked. The man shook his head slowly. "We stayed." Emily waited. "The next morning," the woman continued, "we found handprints on the inside of our door. Like someone had tried to get out." Emily dropped her fork. She rushed back to the front desk. "I'm checking out," she said. The receptionist nodded, already typing. "Of course." As Emily turned to leave, the lights in the lobby flickered. The front door slammed shut on its own. Everyone froze. From upstairs, a deep knocking sound echoed through the hotel. Knock, knock, knock. And from somewhere above them, a familiar whisper floated down the stairs, calling Emily's name. Emily's name echoed through the hotel like it was being carried by the walls themselves. Every head in the lobby turned toward her. The knocking upstairs grew louder, faster, as if something was angry. "I didn't say my name," Emily whispered. Jason grabbed her arm. "It knows you now," he said. "Once it says your name, it doesn't forget." The front door shook, then slowly unlocked by itself. Cold air rushed in. The receptionist stood very still, her face pale. "You need to leave," she said quietly. "Now." Emily did not wait. She ran outside, her heart racing. Jason followed her. The sun was bright, the street busy, cars passing by like nothing was wrong. The hotel behind them stood silent again, as if it had never made a sound. They didn't stop running until they reached a small cafe down the street. Emily sat down hard in a chair, shaking. It said my name," she said. Jason nodded. "That's how it starts." They spent hours talking. Jason told Emily everything he had learned while researching the hotel. Long ago, the Grand Hollow had been a place where people stayed and never left. Guests reported hearing voices calling them back, even after they checked out. Mirrors were said to be doors. The knocking meant something wanted to be let out. But why room 314? Emily asked. Jason leaned closer. Because that room was sealed once. Years ago, guests claimed something came through the mirrors. The hotel closed the room for a long time. When they reopened it, the reports started again. Emily felt sick. I looked in the mirror. Jason's face tightened. Then it saw you clearly. By evening, Emily decided to go home. She packed her bags at the cafe, too afraid to return to the hotel alone. Jason offered to walk her back. The Grand Hollow looked calm when they entered, quiet and warm like before. I'll just grab my things, Emily said. Then I'm gone. Jason waited in the lobby. Emily took the stairs instead of the elevator. Each step felt heavier than the last. When she reached the third floor, the hallway lights flickered. Room 314 stood at the end of the hall, its door slightly open. She swallowed. No, she whispered. I'm not going in there. Her new room, 210, was halfway down the hall. She reached it, unlocked the door, and rushed inside. Everything looked normal. Her bag sat on the bed where she had left it. She grabbed it quickly. That's when she heard the knock. Not from the door. From the mirror. Emily backed away slowly. Stop, she whispered. The mirror began to fog. Words appeared again, slow and clear. You came back. She screamed and ran into the hallway, almost crashing into Jason. It's happening again, she cried. Before Jason could answer, every door on the floor slammed shut at once. The lights went out. The hallway filled with darkness. Then the knocking started. From every room. Knock, knock, knock. Voices whispered through the walls, all saying the same thing. Stay with us. Emily covered her ears. Make it stop. Jason pulled out his phone, using the flashlight. We have to leave. Now. They ran toward the stairs, but the stairwell door was gone. In its place was a mirror, tall and cracked. Shadows moved inside it, reaching forward like they were trying to break through. Emily felt herself being pulled closer, her feet sliding across the floor. She grabbed the wall, screaming. The mirror cracked louder. A hand pressed against the glass from the inside. And then the mirror whispered, softly and clearly, "Come home, Emily." Emily screamed as the mirror pulled her closer. Her fingers scraped the wall, trying to hold on. The glass felt cold, colder than ice. The shadowy hand pressed harder from the inside, as if it could feel her fear. Don't listen, Jason shouted. He grabbed Emily around the waist and pulled with all his strength. The whisper grew louder, angry now. The mirror cracked with a sharp sound, and the lights flashed back on. Suddenly, the pressure stopped. Emily fell backward into Jason's arms. The mirror went still. No shadows. No hand. Just cracked glass staring back at them. They didn't wait. They ran down the stairs, bursting into the lobby. The receptionist looked up, her eyes wide. It's awake, she said quietly. What is it? Emily cried. No one knows its true name, the receptionist said. It feeds on people who look back. Who listen. Emily shook. It followed me. Even after I changed rooms. The receptionist nodded. Once it chooses you, distance doesn't matter. Jason clenched his fists. Then how do people survive? The receptionist hesitated. Some don't, but some learn the rules. She reached under the desk and pulled out an old guest book. The pages were yellow and worn. Names filled the book, written in different handwritings. Next to many names were notes. Heard knocking. Saw mirror face. Left early. One note stood out. Do not answer. Do not look. Leave before midnight. Emily checked the time on her phone. 11:42 p.m. We have less than 20 minutes, Jason said. The hotel lights flickered again. A low hum filled the air, like the building was breathing. Somewhere above them, a door slammed. Emily grabbed her bag. I'm leaving. Right now. Jason nodded. I'm coming with you. They rushed to the front door. It opened easily this time. Outside, the night felt warm and safe. Emily took a deep breath, thinking it was finally over. Then she heard it. Knock. Not from the hotel. From inside her bag. Emily froze. Jason, did you hear that? Another knock came, louder. Jason stared at the bag. Don't open it. I didn't put anything in there, Emily whispered. Her hands shook as the bag began to move slightly, like something inside was trying to get out. The zipper slid open by itself. Emily screamed and dropped the bag. Inside was her phone, screen glowing. The mirror camera was on. On the screen, she saw herself standing outside the hotel. But behind her reflection stood the shadow. It leaned closer to the camera and smiled. Emily turned around. Nothing was there. When she looked back at the phone, words appeared across the screen. You can't leave what you carry. Jason grabbed the phone and threw it onto the sidewalk. The screen shattered. The whisper stopped. They ran. They didn't stop until they reached Jason's car. Emily locked the doors, shaking. It followed me outside, she said. It's not trapped in the hotel. Jason started the engine. Then the hotel isn't the prison, he said slowly. It's the doorway. They drove through the quiet streets, not speaking. Emily tried to calm her breathing. The city lights felt real, solid. She almost believed they were safe. Jason dropped her off at her apartment. Call me if anything strange happens, he said. Emily nodded. Thank you for not leaving me. Inside her apartment, everything felt normal. She locked the door, turned on the lights, and leaned against the wall. It's over, she whispered. She went to the bathroom to splash water on her face. The mirror was already fogged. Emily stepped back slowly. Her reflection appeared, but it did not move when she moved. The reflection smiled. A soft knock came from behind the glass. And the reflection whispered, You brought me home.